Now she is back, or will be back, in a couple of weeks. And we are underway for now at SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview, Illinois. With 2012 Olympian Kaylin Kyle, I'm Corey Cohen. Thrilled you've joined us on this Sunday evening. It's a gorgeous night in the Chicago area, about 77 degrees, low humidity. Just a perfect evening for some soccer.
And it's also a perfect evening for Chicago to really come out on the front foot. You can see OL Reign, when they're ticking, they got the players to really cause you havoc in that final third, especially when the midfields get a hold of the ball. So for Chicago here this evening, they need to come out, they need to press, and they really need to take away the midfield platforms of Marajan and Fishlock.
Chicago wearing the black kits at home, heading this half from the right side of your screen to the left. OL Reign wearing white on the road. Nice through ball there, little heavy. Sent back from Milazzo to Sarah Gordon, who clears it. Lauren Barnes. Here's Jess Fishlock. And Jennifer Marajan takes it. The German international, joined earlier this season on loan here from Lyon. Sarah Gordon with the run. Looking for help, keeps it going, and eventually just sends it forward. So now out comes Sarah Bouhaddi, the French international, who last week was ejected from the match, given a red card, and then midweek it was overturned based on an appeal. So normally she would have been suspended for this match because of the red. The red card was rescinded, so she is able to start yet again. And yes, it is pronounced Bouhaddi.
We got a hard time of that last match, but we are pronouncing it right. We do maybe make mistakes here and there, but that one is correct.
That came directly from her mouth.
It did, but it was interesting. We were both on that call last week with Bouhaddi with that red card that she did get picked up and obviously rescinded from the league. And I think very lucky that it did get rescinded, because I was on the call and I stood by it. I said red card through and through, took out the last player in a goal scoring opportunity. I said red card through and through, took out the last player in a goal scoring opportunity. So huge relief for Reign coming into a match like this where Chicago have been on fire.
Balser gets in a chance for a strike on goal. Happened last week. Her first goal of the two that she scored last week was a similar scenario. She was able to take the ball, but last week without much contact. In this case, it was a foul. Taken away again, Marajan. The through ball just outside the 18. Chicago can't clear it. Still going are the Reign. And Les Sommer just couldn't quite hold on. Some great pressure though from OL Reign. Les Sommer able to keep it in play, wins it. Excellent through ball into the box. The extra pass wide of the net.
And it's that link-up play that we alluded to in the pregame with Huerta and Bethany Balser. This is why I love Huerta when she starts in this 11, because she can roll in any part of the pitch. She's always in a dangerous spot. Great defensive work from Lisa Mer. Good heads-up play, but again, Huerta starting on this right-hand side, rolls out to this left, that little combination play down this left-hand side, and then just that quick little heads-up, puts it with the outside of her foot. She knows Bethany Balser is going to make that darting run across the defenders, trying to get across the goalkeeper, and just misses this one wide. So as this game progresses, really watch those two in the final third with Bethany Balser and Sofia Huerta.
Their second goal last week, just incredible, heading from Huerta to Balser. Again, Balser with the brace last week. She now has 3 goals, 2 of them in that match against Kansas City. Here's a break for OL Reign. Fishlock with the run. It's behind her though. Well-timed pass to Fishlock, and that could have been a goal. Chicago looking to counterattack. Here's Mallory Pugh. Excellent dribble, but taken away at the last moment. Back with the Red Stars. Morgan Gautreau. Through ball off the head of Alana Cook. And Cook clears it. Kept alive. Pressure from Balser, but sent back to Cassie Miller. The goalkeeper filling in for Alyssa Nair, who's off with the U.S. national team for the Olympics. Here's a through ball, a foot race, but OL Reign gets there first. Played back to Bouadi. A little risky there, but gets it to Celia, the Spanish international. Sierra King. Nice through ball, played back to Marajan, as she will switch fields to find Les Sommer. Here's Fishlock. Chips it forward, and off the hop, Miller collects. There's Jess Fishlock. She's been incredibly resilient, both for OL Reign and for the Wales national team. Been named to the NWSL Best 11 4 times in her career. High leg there, bit of a risk, and now played back. Bouadi, another player loaned from Lyon, has been there since 2009, nearing 200 appearances. Cleared by Sharples. Still in play on that far sideline. It's a fight for it. Pugh comes all the way back and gains possession. Sends it forward now, but too much behind it. Bouadi comes out of the box.
This is great defensive work from Mallory Pugh, dropping back in that midfield, but it needs to come down to that midfield battle with Gautreau and especially Di Bernardo in that midfield. She needs to get on it. She needs to win that second and third phase and play a little bit quicker.
Here's Huerta, plays it back to Alana Cook. Nice one touch from Celia to Huerta. Dribbling down this right flank. Celia. And a throw on the way for OL Reign. Celia formerly played with the Spanish national team. Chips it ahead. Still in play. King sends it toward the box. It's headed out. Off a couple of heads, back and forth. And finally out of bounds, a Red Stars throw coming. Tatum Milazzo, one of many players from the Chicago area, member of the Red Stars. Joined initially as a supplemental player and has really broken through. Sierra King. Nice ball forward. All the way back to Cassie Miller, now Sarah Gordon.
And we talk so much about players missing due to the Olympics, but it's such an incredible opportunity for some of these players that might not get into that starting 11 week in and week out to really prove, like you just alluded to, that they deserve to be in the starting 11 and maybe really push players. And that only makes a team better. It only makes a team have more depth, and it makes people uncomfortable, but in the best way possible. One of the big stars for the Red Stars, Casey Kruger, is off to the Olympics. Here's a nice takeaway. Sarah Waldmo, Kaylia Watt in the box, the cross, and it's over the top of the net. And that's that midfield dominance that I was talking about with Chicago. It's going to be the key to their success. When you have front-running players like Watt, Pugh, and Hill that can get at the back line, you need that midfield to do the dirty work. Play that quick pass, and you can just see that one. I love it. Just looks at the outside of her shoulder, knows where Kaylia Watt is, just rolling outside the defender. Watt just doesn't hit through that correctly, doesn't get it on target. But again, Chicago Red Stars midfield winning that battle, and then it's that quick release and that quick tempo that they can really break down OL Reign.
Bouadi, former member of the French national team, had 149 caps. A little too much contact there. It's a foul called against Chicago. Another throw coming for OL Reign on this far sideline. 11th minute, still scoreless thus far. Again with Canadian Olympian Kaylin Kyle. I'm Corey Cohen. Beautiful evening in Chicago. Temperature in the 70s, not much humidity. King gets there first and earns her team a throw now on this near sideline. Celia to take. Out of bounds, so another throw further up the pitch. There's Sam Lady, the interim head coach for OL Reign before Laura Harvey takes over. He's been an assistant coach for years with this team, going back to Laura Harvey. And I'm sure he's thrilled to work with her again. Thrilled to work with her again. Celia into the box, Balser! A beautiful goal! 3 in a row for Bethany.
And it's that darting run across the box which makes her so difficult for defenders to pick her up. It doesn't matter if the service is from the right, the left, central. She is so good off the ball, which makes her so dangerous when the service is on. It's a great ball down this right-hand side from Celia. It's just spinning behind that last defender, but it's that quick readjustment that we see. She just goes off that back shoulder of that center back, and then that quick change of pace. This is why she has been so lethal in this final third, whether it's that aerial threat, scoring twice from a header with a ball cross from Huerta, or even here, just getting the right place at the right time because of the off work of the ball that she does.
Just an excellent strike there from Balser on the finish and a great service in. Sarah Gordon was the defender who lost track of Balser. And more teams are starting to realize you cannot afford to lose track of Bethany Balser.
Well, and it's a 2v1 in the box. Yes, it's great movement from Bethany Balser, but if you've watched any video for the last 3 weeks of Bethany Balser, you know that that is the run she is going to make time and time again, whether it's from the left, the right, or centrally. So that partnership for Chicago, Gordon and Sharples, it needs to be better moving forward.
Balser just a nose for goal. She has been red hot. 2 goals last weekend, 1 already in this contest. Just a nose for goal. She has been red hot. 2 goals last weekend, 1 already in this contest. Not sure if there's some magic in that.
From internationals. International spots and teams overseas. They dropped her for a week, and I thought the team really struggled without her and Huerta in the lineup. Now both deserved back into the lineup. Yes, they're missing internationals, but this is those moments where these two players are really making a stake for themselves. When Laura Harvey comes back from the Olympics and she watches this game footage, she sees just the tempo that these players are on. It's going to be extremely difficult to drop them from the starting 11 if they continue on.
Here's another run from Celia. Got the assist last time she was in this position. This time draws 2 defenders. As you mentioned, Kaylin Laura Harvey with Team USA, which is why she won't be joining until after the Olympics. Sam Lady got his first career win as a head coach, interim head coach, last weekend. Looking for win number 2. Through ball intended for Watt. Cook gets there first.
And just jumping back to Laura Harvey, because I'm going to give her the credit that she deserves. I was lucky enough, I hate talking about post-playing experiences. I played with her in the first year of the NWSL when it kicked off, when Sam was her assistant coach. And what she brings, her tactical knowledge is second to none. She's fantastic breaking down the game and really simplifying it in order to break teams down and knowing their weaknesses. But what she does so extremely well is manages players. She brings in this aura that's infectious. It's a positive mood, positive vibes, which always brings out positive work and really puts that positive work onto the field. But she also balances of when she needs to be serious as well and hold players accountable. And that's a very tough thing to do, especially in a women's league.
I'll speak for many when I say we love hearing about your playing experiences. It's that insight that's so valuable. Throw in the far sideline for OL Reign. Given away to the Red Stars. Sarah Gordon.
And I'll tell you a quick funny story as this game's kind of in the middle of the pitch with Laura Harvey. It's just one of these things that she brings to a team. If you do something silly at training or off the field where it has players shaking their head, not in a bad way, she'll make you wear a different training shirt just to bring light of it. But it's for a joke. It's meant to be funny. It brings people together. So when you're given the shirt for doing something silly and a player or a teammate calls you out, but those are those little things that she brings into a squad that really brings that togetherness is. And I think this is what OL Reign needs. You look at the players that they have in. They have world-class players. You look at the players that they don't even have in right now. The starting 11, I mean, could really be, they could start for anyone within, in and around the league. So it's going to take a special manager, someone like Laura Harvey, to be able to manage the expectations and manage the players.
Balser down on the ground. Was the Rookie of the Year in the NWSL in 2019. Really shined again when those international players were gone. That was the World Cup year. And here she is now with some of these players gone for the Olympics, and she is shining again. So just as you were saying, Caitlin, it's all about opportunity.
It's all about opportunity, but then it's confidence. She's really taken the opportunity and ran with it. But then scoring these goals builds confidence in a player. And then I don't want to say it becomes easy, but you just have that confidence you bring in for those 90-minute performances. You know, you watch game film of what has made you successful in past games, and then you just keep building on that, and players start to trust you. So it's those no-look passes inside the box because they know Balser is going to be there making those fantastic runs that we've seen for her last 4 goals.
Balser walking off the pitch. Hopefully, though, she'll just take some time.
That we've seen for her last 4 goals.
Balser walking off the pitch. Hopefully, though, she'll just take some time, get right, and chipped ahead. Header off target, and Miller comes out and grabs it. Not much power behind that header. And a chance for Reign to go up 2-0 against Chicago. Red Star collision there in the midfield. 2 players down. Foul called against the Reign. DiBernardo and Marajan. Both players back on their feet. Set piece on the way for the Red Stars. You see Rory Dames there in the signature hoodie. Doesn't matter how hot it is. That is his preference. DiBernardo, the weighted pass, kept in play, the cross, cleared out. Nicely done by Sam Hyatt. Quick throw taken by Chicago. DiBernardo. Into the box, no one on that far post. Now collected and taken right back by the Reign. Celia being told to take a few steps back. Referee Ekaterina Koroleva.
And this is a huge game for both of these teams. You look at OL Reign with 13 points. A win here tonight would potentially tie them for that first place spot. Obviously, Portland and Orlando play tonight at 10:30 Eastern time. So again, a huge game for them. And then you look at Chicago, same thing, puts them into first with 17 points.
No one connects on that service into the box. And Balser now able to come back on. So a few minutes off the pitch, but fortunately she is all right. Yeah, huge opportunity. Just last night in that North Carolina-Houston match, with the Dash beating the Courage, all of a sudden now Houston is in a four-way tie for first. So it's amazing how quickly a team can rise up the standings with how competitive this league has been and how much parity there is. That Houston gets one win over a team at the top of the table, and now they are part of that four-way tie. Chicago win, as you mentioned, Kalen, would put them into first, at least temporarily. Here's Jess Fishlock. Huerta. Marajan. Celia plays it to her right. Sierra King, nice cutback from King. Into the box, just off the mark.
And I don't mind this ball from King. I've spoken about her a lot. I think she is a fantastic player. It's just in that final third sometimes makes the wrong decision or tries to force a ball in. This is a brilliant little ball in from King, splitting those center backs just far enough away from the goalkeeper, and usually a run that we would see a Balser get on the end of or a Huerta get on the end of. So I love this heads-up play from King. And again, this is a player that you can tell that has gone back to the training ground, gone over video footage of previous matches of where she needs to put the ball to make herself and her teammates in more dangerous positions.
Chance for Chicago. Celia. King, ooh, little contact, and now the whistle blown. Foul called on Tatum Milazzo. Sierra King, South Jersey native. 22-year-old, was the 8th overall pick in last year's draft. This is her first season with the Reign. Marajan will restart. Some room on the left for the Reign. Lauren Barnes, now Le Sommer. Sends it across, looking for King, a header, not much behind it. '24th minute here from SeatGeek Stadium. A 1-0 lead for OL Reign after the goal in the 12th minute from Bethany Balser. Again with 2012 Olympic bronze medalist Kaylin Kyle. I'm Corey Cohen, joining you on this Sunday evening on Paramount Plus, as well as iHeartRadio if you are just listening. Some good passing here from the Reign.
It's good passing, but there's just far too much time and space for Chicago that's giving OL Reign to be successful in these areas.
There was a chance, but the offside flag was up on Huerta.
And the ability that OL Reign is playing that 1-2 touch football that's moving it very quickly. But when you have a team like OL Reign that's starting to find their rhythm, they're hitting those 1-2 touches. For Chicago, just stay defensively sound. Don't get sucked out. Don't go just to go. Pick your moments of when the team needs to step, when the team needs to get numbers around the ball, so then you can get numbers higher up the pitch.
It was a nice through ball from Waldmo. Back to Sarah Waldmo. Had a great career at the time Sky Blue FC, now Gotham. Balser hasn't quite looked right since that injury. She did go off for a few minutes, so it was more serious than just a small knock. Still able to play, but might not be the same as she was before that foul. Sarah Gordon. Milazzo, both players from the Chicago area. Just outside the city. Milazzo sends it sky high. Watt looks to settle. And last touch off of OL Reign, so a throw coming for Chicago. Taken quickly. Good defense from Alana Cook. There's Rory Dames. He's been with this club forever, just about. Nice takeaway by Marijan. Plays it to Fishlock. Good pass there from Les Omer. Fishlock with a great run, still sprinting ahead. Not much room and has to slow it down. Les Omer couldn't link up with Balser. Visit NWSLshop.com to find your club's latest gear. Support your favorite NWSL club with the latest tees, sweatshirts, hats, novelties, and more. Back with Sharples. Ooh, some contact, no whistle. Taken away by the rain. Balser, edge of the box. Sends it back, but taken by the Red Stars.
There's just no outlet pass for Chicago, even when they do win the ball. None of their midfields look like they want it. Everyone's hiding in the midfield. That has to be the outlet pass when they're in their defensive third. So it allows players like Pugh, Watt, and Hill to stay higher up the pitch, not having to drop back to try to get the ball in those dangerous areas. So for players like Woldmo, DiBernardo, Gautrat, they need to get on it offensively and then defensively, get their team numbers a little bit closer, start to put pressure on, or OL Reign will run away with this match.
The Reign are controlling possession, about 59%. Fishlock looking for Balser. And send that through pass. Cook. Passing around that Reign back line. DiBernardo got a piece, but a throw on the way for the Reign. Good pressure from DiBernardo. Now Watt. Still. Chance for OL Reign. Celia. Nothing on that through ball either. Both teams seem to have slowed down a little bit. Back to Cassie Miller. A leg in there from Huerta, takes a long strike. Too high. That would have been a stunner if it were a little lower.
And it's the confidence that we're starting to see from Huerta, but this is just that forced ball out of the back. There's no need to try to hit this one mid-height and switch that platform. If you can't hit it, knock it up, win the first and second phase in the midfield. And it's Huerta, just her positioning. Offensively, she's always in fantastic little gaps, gets on the ball, gets on the half turn, has the confidence to take 2-3 players on. And then I like this. She's starting to grow into matches and not scared to try to hit this one. Yes, it wasn't a clean hit 20 yards out of the box, but to have a player like this, it shows confidence and shows confidence in her play.
Native of Boise, Idaho, went to Santa Clara. Came to the Reign formerly with the Houston Dash. Milazzo, King, got her body there. Nice work by Sharples. That ball was slow. She got to it first. Rachel Hill. Just given away to the Reign. 31st minute. Good pressure from Chicago. All the way back to Bouadi, who has not been challenged much in this one. Chicago hasn't even taken a single shot, whether on target or off. Milazzo. Kept alive by Morgan Gautrat. Mallory Pugh. Again, just that extra, that pass, not linking up for Chicago. Balser has it, plays it to her left. Sent forward.
And actually, quite frankly, both teams not being able to link up well enough in those final thirds. OL Reign have dominated possession. They've dominated that midfield presence, that 1-2 touch football, hitting the quick switches of attack. The Bethany Balthazar goal, fantastic, but just the last 5 to 10 minutes, just been a little bit sloppy, trying to force balls into that box, trying to whip balls around the corner when it's not on. Sometimes it just takes a player to put their foot on the ball, slow the tempo of the game down, and just to keep possession.
Pugh went down after that aerial collision. She's up now, though. Take a look at that. So on the restart, it's given to the Reign. Lauren Barnes recently became the second NWSL player ever to play in 150 regular season matches. First to do it with just one club.
And you notice the difference that Lauren Barnes has made coming back into the 11, just the calmness she brings. And I think, again, it's going to take some time to put all the pieces to the puzzle for this OL Reign side, and just to see what formation, what lineup works the best, where players work the best. You saw when Marjan first came over, she was playing higher up the pitch, now playing alongside Jess Fishlock. And then again, when players come back from the Olympics. So it's going to be really fun to see what happens with the growth of this OL Reign side, and then add Laura Harvey into that mix. It's going to be really exciting, and they're going to be a threat both defensively and offensively.
These players have also really enjoyed playing thus far for Sam Lady. Again, he's not new to the club. He's been an assistant there since 2013. This is his third game as interim head coach. They've responded to him well after he took over following the departure of Fareed Ben-Stiti.
And he's very similar to Laura Harvey. He's worked with some of the best managers after Laura Harvey obviously departed. He's a great guy. He knows tactically how to get the job done, and we saw that last game where he got his first win as the head coach of this team. He knows how to manage players, and I think that's one of the toughest things to do when you have a team full of superstars and full of talent that have done everything, that have won everything, and that have played at the highest level in every other league in the world. It's very difficult to then come in with a different playing structure than these players are used to. You need to manage them and put them in the best formation and system possible for them to be successful.
Some pressure here from the Reign, played back to Sharples. More pressure now from Fishlock. DiBernardo with some room. Plays it through to Watt. Has Hill in the box. Kalia Watt still dribbling. The shot saved by Bouadi. But the first shot of the game for the Chicago Red Stars comes from Kalia Watt.
And I said it in the pregame, these players are going to need to come up big, and it's the front three of Pugh, Watt, and Hill. One of them are going to need a little bit of individual brilliance. First 35 minutes, they've really been defensively all over the place, offensively haven't been able to settle on the ball, haven't been able to string passes together. So sometimes it just takes a moment like that we just saw Watt on the ball, just have that confidence, that calmness in and around the box, and again, make something out of nothing.
"36th minute here from SeatGeek Stadium. 1-0 is the score, with the goal in the 12th from Bethany Balser. Again with Olympian Kaylin Kyle, I'm Corey Cohen, joining you on Paramount Plus as we take a look at that chance from Kalia Watt. Been the best chance of the game so far for Chicago, which isn't saying much. Again, that was the first shot they had taken on the evening. Well, Reign fairly dominant thus far. Great slide from Huerta, all ball, and then able to just pop right back up. Fishlock plays it wide. The cross. Second chance, looking for King. Heads it back. Marijan flicks it. Fishlock couldn't get King. Heads it back. Marijan flicks it. Fishlock couldn't get the strike.
And he has that double pivot screen beside each other.
In the box, loose, and now the foul called as Miller came out. And now the foul called as Miller came out, and there was a collision between Balser and Aaron Wright.
But who is it that puts the ball in the box again? It's Huerta. With really changed in her game and the confidence that she's grown. We saw on the left-hand side put a class ball in, then on the right-hand side, then the ball comes out. You see this little cheekiness top of the box with Marijan Fishlock just not being able to get on the end of it. But Huerta then putting that long ball in the box, trying to find Balser, and that partnership between those two really starting to grow.
Watt with a great service to Mallory Pugh. Pugh, the pass to DiBernardo. It was a great build-up from the Red Stars. DiBernardo just no good on the shot.
And this is Chicago, this build-up. They just haven't been clinical enough in that final third. Pugh getting her head up, and it's that late midfield run. It's extremely difficult as a defender to pick up. DiBernardo just joining that attack. So can she keep building on that momentum? We haven't really called her name a lot in this first 40 minutes of the match. Again, can she start to grow in it? Can she start to really change the tempo? Because it's going to come down to this midfield battle in the second 45.
DiBernardo has been playing with Chicago professionally since before the NWSL. As we see a foul called on the Reign. And Pugh helped up by Le Sommer. Mallory Pugh made news when she opted to go straight into Mallory Pugh made news when she opted to go straight into professional play. Didn't opt for NCAA, giving her off the U.S. national team for this Olympics. Here's the set piece, headed by the Reign, and now cleared, still in play. Aaron Wright. There's a run down that left flank. Wright with some good defense. Balser mishit the pass, and Chicago gets it right back. DiBernardo. Here's a chance for Mallory Pugh. Taken by the Reign. So a throw here for the Red Stars. Solid passing down that right flank. Too much, though, from Aaron Wright. Wright had a son last year in April 2020 named Grady. He's back with the Red Stars. She's had a great career. Was named to the NWSL Best 11 back in 2016. Buadi. Alana Cook. Switch field, some room to run. Sommer plays it back. Dribbling from Barnes, Les Sommer. Back out. Steady passing. Fishlock, nobody there, and a goal kick on the way for the Red Stars.
And that's one thing you're starting to see with OL Reign, just the fluidity of their movement up top and with their movement in that midfield. And that comes with those 90 minutes playing together. And again, it's difficult to do when you've had a change of head coach, when you've had players in and out, you've had players signing mid-season. And now you're really starting to see those partnerships build. You're starting to see that partnership between Fishlock and Marajan. I think that's something that you can really look forward to the rest of the season. When one goes, the other one holds, and vice versa. That quick touch play, the likes of adding Lou Barnes back into the starting 11 just with her distribution with that left foot and the ability to play that quick football.
Bright days ahead, certainly, for the Reign, and bright days ongoing after their victory last weekend. Right now they lead Chicago 1-0. Things were looking fairly bleak. And just in the last 9 days or so, everyone getting a lot more hopeful about their chances this season. So much talent. Got Sam Leahy there as the interim head coach, and then soon to be Laura Harvey. They can put all these pieces together. They can be exceptionally dangerous.
More than what she's won at the club as well. You see, since the signing, players coming out and being excited about it, throwing tweets on Twitter. And I know social media is not everything, but
here's King. Cuts it back. King. Offside flag stays down for Huerta. And a corner on the way for OL Reign.
But just jumping back to that point, it just says a lot about what the players thought of Laura Harvey, whether they played for...
And a corner on the way for OL Reign.
But just jumping back to that point, it just says a lot about what the players thought of Laura Harvey, whether they played for her, whether they didn't play for her. And you look, this is that brilliant on her in past games, just in that final third, about maybe making the wrong decision or maybe passing when she should dribble or dribbling when she should pass. And again, both opportunities, these last one coming from King, making the right decision, just not being able to get on the end of it.
Marajan to take the corner. King deflected by Sharples. King is down. Out of bounds, and they'll take a look at Zierra King. She took the strike. Sharples had deflected it. Call for the training staff as we take a look to see what happened. I think it was the initial, when she initially got the ball. I think it was the initial, when she initially got the ball, she was hit in that
rib. It's just for her to be brought off the pitch.
And again, it was that contact, and then she stayed up. She was able to take the shot, and then you don't go down until you absolutely have to, until the play is dead. be just about 1 minute of stoppage time. Not many breaks so far in this one.
The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 1 minute and added.
So the final seconds of the opening half. King able to win it for the Reign. Foul called. So we'll see if the Reign try to send this up, or if they're content to just take the 1-0 lead. Ball forward. Sharples holds off as Miller comes out. Final moments, it's Gordon. Milazzo. And halftime now.
Those goals are scored. I don't think they've scored a goal from around a play since June 2nd. Correct me if I'm wrong, Corey. So again, for Chicago, just a little bit more patient in the final third, but it comes down to the midfield, both battling defensively and then really being the string and the connector to those front three players.
Second half has begun here from Bridgeview, Illinois. Between the Chicago Red Stars and OL Reign. Both teams made a substitution at the half. For the Reign, Amber Brooks came in at center back for Sam Hyatt. And for Chicago, a bit of a surprise, Danielle Colaprico comes in for Sarah Waldmo in the midfield.
And I'm glad that you said a little bit of a surprise, because I thought Waldmo, for me, was the best midfield within that three for Chicago Red Stars. You saw her doing the defensive work, and then really the only one connecting passes forward to especially Watt down that left-hand side. So an interesting sub for me for Chicago, but we'll see if it pays off.
And you mentioned that fascinating statistic as we see a foul and player down for OL Reign. And that fascinating statistic as we see a foul and player down for OL Reign. For the Red Stars, 8th. They scored 3 own goals, or 3 own goals were scored for them in these last 2 weeks. Lot of shirt tugging there, and we'll see if a card is issued. It is. So a yellow card given after Watt was dragged down. As we take a look, yeah, Celia, just no doubt about it, that's blatant. So as I was saying, Chicago benefiting from 3 own goals in the last 2 weeks from their opponents. Before that, a penalty kick was scored, but again, not in the run of play. And so the last goal scored by the Red Stars in their run of play, June 5th. About a month and a half. We'll see if they can break that tonight. The offense has been lacking lately. Sharples back to Cassie Miller. Looking to counterattack. Nice header. Kaylia Watt looking for some room. Plays it to her left. Here's a run for Mallory Pugh. Here's a run for Mallory Pugh. The cross deflected. An own goal! 4 straight own goals equalized here at home.
Look, sometimes it doesn't matter how the goal is scored, how the ball goes into the back of the net. You look statistically where they are in the table. Is it deserved? Maybe not so much because of the stat going back to June 5th, not scoring a own round to play goal, but sometimes luck is just in your favor, and sometimes you just need a lucky bounce. Fortunately, they've had 4 in a row. This is just a bad deflection. Defender sticking their leg out at the wrong time. Again, no players in behind them, so as a defender, try not, you can't really just be sticking a leg out to stick a leg out if you're caught in the wrong positioning. But again, players making something out of nothing, and I talked about it before, players like Pugh, Watt, and Hill up top, we see it time and time again, especially with these three players.
Something is happening with the Red Stars. This is absolutely wild. 3 games in a row, 4 own goals in a row.
I've never heard of a team or a game where you haven't had any shots on target or on goal and have had 2 and you won the game. I've never heard of it, but again, whatever's going on in Chicago, they're lucky at this point. I don't have the words for it. I mean, I've never seen 4 own goals back to back and then a PK goal. So the last 5, again, going back to June 5th.
Absolutely stunning as King looking to make a play on it. And we're trying to track. It hasn't happened in the NWSL. We don't know if it's ever happened that any team professionally anywhere on the globe has scored 4 own goals in a row or has had 4 own goals scored for them in a row. It's a wild streak. And it's, there's
please
no
add us if they have, because
yes.
I would love to know. It's a wild statistic. I've never heard of it. I've never seen in a game like I alluded to with no shots on target, but yet you still score 2 goals.
Yes, please find us on Twitter, Kaylin Kyle, Corey Cohen, on NWSL Reddit, someone, if anyone's heard of it, because this is just stunning. A lot of contact there and a foul called. Watt has taken a few hits so far this evening. And what's fascinating about the streak is that it's not against a consistent opponent. So there's really nothing, yeah, that without a doubt, Fishlock. There's nothing that Chicago consistently, there's no consistency in that. It's been 3 different teams that have allowed these.
We don't want to take anything away from Chicago because you see, especially these 3 players, I keep jumping back to them because Mallory Pugh, just seeing what we saw there, I mean, yes, it takes deflection, but really making something out of nothing, that 1v1 brilliance that we see. We saw Kaylia Watt in the first half.
As that goes over the top.
So yes, we could say it time and time again, the own goals, the 4 own goals back to back to back to back. We've never seen it, but it's these players getting in dangerous areas, putting the ball in dangerous areas, which is making defenders score these own goals because it's that quick whipped in ball where defenders don't get their body positioning right. They don't move their feet quick enough. They're caught wrong side of the ball, and it's that lazy defending. You saw that first 45 minutes, Chicago not really getting a lot of quality chances. We saw Watt with 1 and Pugh with 1, but other than that, couldn't find a rhythm. So sometimes that gets that back line sleeping and switches off just for that moment when that good quality ball gets knocked in, like we just saw there. You stick a lazy leg out and it goes into the back of your own net.
It really has been something. And for the Red Stars, against Washington, against Houston, and now against OL Reign, they've scored 4 own goals, not coming off their own players. Just stunning. I'm sure it's confounding Sam Lady.
I think everyone watching these games, like again, we're not taking anything away from Chicago, but it's very unheard of to have 4 own goals back to back to back and a PK before that. So the last 5 haven't been from the round of play and haven't been from a player on Chicago.
It's almost impressive in a way that they've managed to score these goals with, and again, not without doing anything, but without being the final player to put it in. And the fact that it's, again, never happened in this league.
It's got to be a record around the world. I mean, I would love to know if it's not, because I would be shocked if it wasn't.
Yeah, it's just been a stunning run for the Red Stars against their opponents. I don't know if it's a spell or something, but whatever it is, their opponents.
I don't want to say it, but they're counting their lucky stars.
Yes.
No pun intended. I hate that I just said that.
There you go. I love it. Fishlock to King. Danielle Colaprico into the game. New Jersey native. Had a stellar run in 2015, 16, and 17. Was named to the NWSL second 11 all 3 years. Through ball. Finding Kalia Watt. Watt dribbles, edge of the box, nice cut in. Watt, last touch off of Alana Cook. So corner coming for the Red Stars.
And again, we could talk about these own goals all day long, but it's added a spark. Even seeing Kalia Watt, we saw this in the first all day long, but it's added a spark. Even seeing Kalia Watt, we saw this in the first half from Kalia, just driving at players, but just having that confidence and really changing the momentum of the match, because it was really, you had Mallory Pugh driving at that back line, yes, getting an own goal, but it's a great whipped in ball into the box. So can they keep building this momentum?
The corner.
No way.
No way! Another own goal! And the Chicago Red Stars take a lead. 5 in a row. We'll take another look to make sure. But my goodness, another goal for the Red Stars will confirm if it was in fact an own goal. Pugh. The question is, did Milazzo
like it comes
get
off
it?
Cook. If you can see here, Cook just turns her body in the wrong way, and it comes off Cook's right shin. So this is an own goal. I mean, you can't make this up. 5 own goals in a row.
The simulation has broken.
They need to give the own goal a pay increase, sign her for 5 years. I mean, it's incredible. I have never seen this. There definitely isn't a stat like this anywhere around the world in any sort of professional league. I've never heard of it.
This is absolutely wild. Here's Sierra King. I cannot believe this has happened. Now 5 goals in a row. Own goal is about to be a more prolific goal scorer than Sam Kerr was for the Red Stars.
If the marketing team is switched on in Chicago, you need to start selling a jersey with the last name of own goal. You'd make a fortune. I'd buy it.
This is remarkable.
I'll take 10% because I've just thought of that idea on national television.
This is absolutely amazing. It's truly bizarre. But somehow they've got 2 wins in a row. Now, if it ended like this, would be 3 wins in a row, all without scoring their own goal. Just remarkable. 5 in a row. Watt in the box. Little back and forth here. Pugh lays it off to Aaron Wright. Now Gautreau. Pugh, the offside flag was up. So Bouadi, who was not challenged much in the first half, actually has been challenged more by her own team in the second half. And for the second straight week, the Red Stars have 2 goals scored by their opponent. The other 9 teams in this league are going to have to do something to break this curse before it gets out of hand. Maybe a Ted Lasso style sacrifice where they all get together and put something into a fire.
Look, and again, we're not taking anything away from Chicago.
Not at all.
Because they've gotten into dangerous areas. It goes back to my point that I made. When you put good quality balls into the box, and they do end up going for an own goal, it's because it's a very difficult ball defensively to clear. You're either not in the right position, it's a dangerous ball, and you don't know if you have a runner behind you, so you stick your leg out. Again, that comes down to that sloppy defending because you're not tracking your runners. You don't know positionally where you actually are on the pitch. So again, it comes down to sloppy defending.
Here's another chance. Hill. The strike off the post, and Bouadi just picks it up with help of the post, nearly DiBernardo. But apparently the Red Stars are not allowed to score unless it's by their opponent.
But look, you can see the momentum shift now. So whether it's an own goal or a goal, the momentum is completely shifted. It's throwing OL Reign off. And it's added some excitement to the Chicago side. They're starting to get numbers forward. They're starting to get the midfield more attached. They're not allowing players like Fishlock and Marjan time and space on the ball to really dictate the tempo of the match.
It's really been incredible, and I completely agree. Chicago looks like a different team after scoring those 2 goals, even though they didn't technically score them. Some good pressure here from the Reign. And cleared away. As we take a look at that shot from DiBernardo, nearly the first goal in the run of play since June 5th.
There really is a glitch in the matrix at the moment because this is a great shot by DiBernardo. She completely reads this right. She goes for precision instead of power, and it just goes off the post. So you can see the look in her face. How did that one not go in?
Couple substitutions here. So Kelsey Hedge comes in for OL Reign. Leah Pruitt and Kelsey Hedge, the 2 subs. Coming in for Balser and Le Sommer. There's Leah Pruitt. Played all the way back. Just astounding what has happened thus far.
And I'm not trying to make a joke or make light of this, but I mean, if you look at own goal for Chicago, 5 goals for own goal. I'm giving them their own name, okay? This is an actual player.
Yes, it's a player with a jersey.
They are now tied with Hatch and LaRue and Williams for the Golden Boot race in the NWSL.
Absolutely incredible.
I'm making my own stats. Sorry, Jen Cooper.
And that's not all own goals across the league. That's just the Chicago Red Stars' own goals.
Look, they have their own name. I'm getting this jersey done for Chicago. It's happening.
Absolutely astounding. And yet they can't seem to score in the run of play on their own, but they haven't had to. It's just been pure chaos. To borrow from WandaVision, this is chaos magic. Can't exactly define it, but whatever the Red Stars have been doing, it is chaos. Cleared by Cook. Just a stunning few weeks for the Red Stars and every team that they have played. We'll see if the Reign can get their groove back. Since the first own goal, they have not been nearly the same side that they were in the first half when they were fairly dominant.
And you can see Sam Lady just on the sideline, just telling the players to get closer. You can really see the disconnect in the back line of OL Reign. Just players having too much time, too much space, no cover and support, really lacks defending because they didn't really have to do a lot of it in that first 45 minutes. So it's going to be so important for players like Jess Fishlock to really take this team and really start to lead this team, be that vocal leader, really guide that back line a little bit higher, a little bit tighter, and have midfield dropping down and double teaming.
Mascot there in the crowd. Watt. Poked away. And a throw coming from the Red Stars. Meanwhile, for Hedge, who came in, it is her debut. Back to goal, it's Pugh! Mallory Pugh breaks the streak! A stunner! And Chicago leads 3-1. Their first goal in the run of play since June 5th, and it was a beauty.
And you could feel this one coming all game long from Mallory Pugh, either Pugh or Watt. It was going to come from either one of them. Love this from Mallory Pugh. It comes from a throw-in, but it's how she uses her body. Just rolls that defender again. So good in tight spaces, and then just to get the power behind it. We talked about it 5 minutes prior, just OL Reign, the lax in defending, just not good enough, not tight enough, not having that cover and support, and Mallory Pugh made that look easy because the defender is just too touch tight and she was too easy to turn.
An excellent shot from Mallory Pugh. Here's Marijan. The Reign are reeling. They need a goal. Zierra King takes the shot. It's deflected. And Pugh coming all the way back. Just a bizarre statistic that they hadn't scored a goal in the run of play since June 5th. And yet they've gotten multiple points, multiple wins, and here they lead 3-1. A stunning turn of events here in this second half. When this game went into halftime, most people watching would have thought, yeah, Reign dominant, Chicago not many opportunities. We'll see if they can turn it around. And in less than 20 minutes, the Red Stars have just flipped the script entirely.
Look, the Red Stars were poor in that first 45 minutes, and they would be probably the first players to put their hand up and say it wasn't good enough. Our midfield weren't good enough. We weren't getting on the ball. We weren't connecting passes. Defensively, we were dropping too quick, too early. And then we were leaving our front three players very isolated. Yes, it was lady luck with the own goal that really turned this game around, but it was players getting into the right spots in the dangerous areas, putting good quality balls into the box that led to these own goals. And then moment of brilliance for Pugh, where we saw glimpses of it in that first 45 minutes, but was just, again, left very isolated, and now not isolated when moving forward.
Pugh got a leg in there. Last touch off of OL Reign. So a throw for the Red Stars. There's Sam Lady, interim head coach. Things have changed so drastically since halftime. Another throw. And another throw. I'll keep doing this all the way up the pitch. Here's Rory Dames, who cut a deal with the football gods for these own goals, but obviously so many great opportunities that the Red Stars have forced, creating the own goals, and then Pugh with the stunner, creating the own goals, and then Pugh with the stunner on the assist from Kaylee Watt.
And thanks to Claire Watkins at Scout Ripley on Twitter, because she was actually done some research. Team Portland Thorns previously held the record of own goals with 4, and now obviously Chicago has 5 on the season. So Chicago will now take that new title of most own goals that have gone in their favor. So thank you, Claire Watkins.
And by the way, that was not 4 in a row. That was for the whole season.
The whole season, yes. So
Chicago have accomplished the single season record in 3 games. Not even 3 full games. Just a mind-blowing statistic. And Chicago now 23 minutes and change away from a three-peat, 3 wins in a row. That would move them, at least temporarily, into first place.
And it's incredible to see. Obviously, Chicago started a little bit slow on the season. They didn't really have any form. And yeah, sometimes it does take a little bit of lady luck. So call it what you want to call it, own goals. But again, it's players getting in dangerous areas, putting good balls and good quality balls into the box. And now they're building off this. This is going to build confidence. This is going to build momentum. Obviously, yes, there's a game later on this evening at 10:30 with Portland. And
here's a chance, Rachel Hill. She kept it in play, but Buadi makes the grab.
With Portland and Orlando, that will really tell the tale of who will take top of the table later this evening to close out the weekend of the NWSL. But going into next week, Chicago's going to look at the table and be like, yes, we had a little bit of luck, but we're starting to build. We're starting to build momentum, and can we use this momentum for the rest of the season?
Pruitt plays to King. Sierra King, great dribbling, cuts back, the pass! Stellar talent from King, just couldn't link up with Pruitt at the very end. Lauren Barnes. '70th minute here.
And it'll be interesting to see what happened with Hyatt with that halftime substitute in the back in for Brooks. And no disrespects to Brooks, but you can just see obviously done on the goal with Mallory Pugh just getting spun too early, just defensively losing that rhythm that Hyatt really brought into this back line. So hopefully there's no injury or anything like that due to her. Maybe just a muscle fatigue. Not entirely sure what happened there. But again, just for Brooks and confidence moving forward, she's going to need to really rely on her center back partnership with Cook in the rest of this game, because there is time for them to claw back into this game. They have the quality, but just defensively hasn't been good enough since coming in.
Play back to Bouadi. '71st minute now from SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview. 3-1 is the score. With 2012 bronze medalist Kaylin Kyle, I'm Corey Cohen. Thrilled to be joining you for this bizarre Sunday evening game. Chicago with 3 goals, 2 of them were own goals sent in by the rain, which made it 5 own goals in a row that Chicago benefited from. That own goal player with a stellar run, like Jordan in the 90s. Here's a chance for the Reign, and caught by Miller. Visit NWSLshop.com to find your club's latest gear. Support your favorite NWSL club with the latest tees, sweatshirts, hats, novelties, and more. And who knows, maybe they'll have an own goal jersey, Red Stars jersey up there.
If we know anything about the NWSL, we know whoever's running the media accounts and the marketing teams, that they've been class all season long. So do not let me down, Chicago.
It's been a run rarely seen before. Here's a run from Kaylia Watt, taken away. Watt, just a few minutes ago, passed the milestone of 10,000, now over 10,000 career NWSL minutes. So a huge honor for her. She's been one of the top forwards in this league for years now. Originally with Houston, now with Chicago. Substitution on the way for the Reign. Madison Hammond will come in. She'll enter for Celia, who again is playing on a red card. Hammond, originally from Albuquerque, New Mexico, became the first Native American player in the NWSL. DiBernardo. Pass, player goes down, not much contact though. Nutmeg and then contact from King. And that will be a yellow card issued to Sierra King. Give and go, Pugh. Sends it across and cleared. Foul called anyway against the Red Stars. Red Stars preparing to make a substitution. Katie Johnson is warming up. Here's Sierra King. OL Reign scored in the 12th minute, and it's been a drought since. Hammond. A few solid passes here. Pruitt got a piece. Some contact, the ref says play on. A sprint. Look at the run from Aaron Wright. Still going. Wright, some fancy footwork, but miss hits on the shot.
And this is something that we didn't see in the first 45 minutes. The fullbacks of Chicago getting more involved, getting numbers forward because they were pinned back so defensively, just dealing with the waves of pressure for OL Reign back in the net. It puts confidence into players that we didn't see in that first 45 minutes. We didn't call their names in that first 45 minutes, and it comes down to individual players like Mallory Pugh that's really led this front three. Players like Kaylia Watt as well, taking those opportunities, putting balls into dangerous areas. And again, call them what you want to call them, own goals or a well-deserved goal.
By the way, though the streak was broken by Mallory Pugh, the own goal streak of 5 games has led the term own goal to be trending nationally on Twitter. Here's Sierra King. Cuts left and right, and is cleared away. But yes, own goal is a national trend on Twitter due to this game and this run from the Red Stars. Again, the streak was broken of 5 own goals in a row with Pugh's goal in the 64th minute. This sent in. King got a touch, and it will be Red Stars ball. Substitution here, as Katie Johnson will come in for that board upside down. And now backwards, but we'll take it. The point stands. Katie Johnson comes in for Rachel Hill. This game has had a bit of everything. Katie Johnson, 26-year-old from Southern California, played 23 appearances with the Mexican national team. Her mom was born in Mexico. Pruitt was streaking, but Sharples got there first. Pruitt, you can tell, but Sharples got there first. Pruitt, you can tell, is hungry for goal. There's not many opportunities. Now Cook and Fishlock.
I think Buadie as well has her work cut out for her since coming to the NWSL. She's made a couple big-time errors. She got off the hook with the red card from last game that, again, got rescinded from the league midweek, and then made a couple positional errors here this evening. So for her, coming into a league, this isn't an easy league to play in. She's going to really need to go look at video footage, you know, go sit down with the back four and really sort out that communication, because we've seen it too much for a goalkeeper make big time mistakes in matches that has really changed the momentum.
Red Stars ball here, 79th minute. They lead 3-1 after trailing 1-0 at the half. Too much there. And an own goal on the way for the Reign. Buadie, who joined mid-season on loan from Lyon. Been with that club since 2009. King gets her head on it. Now Pugh muscled off. Not enough for a foul. That will be a foul called to the Red Stars. Fishlock upset about it. Fishlock plays it to Hammond. The Reign switch fields. Kept in play by Barnes, captain of OL Reign.
And you can just see Chicago's taken the air out of the tires in this match, dropping defensively, not allowing
Sent in.
Not allowing OL Reign any time on the ball or to get.
King again. This is a shot. Not much behind it, and Miller saves easily.
And there's not much behind it because look at the defensive work. They have 6 behind the ball. It's a 6v3. So even if King gets turned and is trying to find that pass forward, she's got to beat so many defenders. And again, this is credit to Chicago. They've changed this game. They went into the locker room at halftime. They knew it wasn't good enough. And they've come out here in the second 45 minutes and quite frankly have dominated defensively, have dominated in the attack. Doesn't matter how the goal goes into the back of the net.
Kealia Watt in the box. She's got no help. 4 white shirts. Perhaps a chance taken away by the Reign. And Marijan sends it wide to clear the danger. A chance again. Mallory Pugh in the box. The cross. And cleared for a moment off the Reign defender heading toward goal. You wondered if there could be a third own goal. Not sure an own goal hat trick has ever happened in a game.
The amount of times that we've used own goal, in my mind, I feel like there is a player with the last name own goal on the pitch. like actually.
You got it right. Sign own goal, print the jersey.
Sign him on a 5-year.
Own goal has just been on a tear. Watt has been huge tonight. Still going, but after the contact, it is cleared. Kealia Watt got the assist on the Mallory Pugh goal.
I think one thing too will change, and it's nothing against Sam Lady, but when Laura Harvey comes back in, this isn't good enough for OL Reign. You look at the players, and they can't use excuses of their big-time players gone away to the Olympics. Yes, they are, but you still look at the squad that they have. You look at where some of these players have played. You look at the caps they have for their national teams, the titles they've won in Europe for their professional leagues. It's not good enough. They haven't been consistently good week in and week out. They'll put together a good 90-minute performance and then fall off the following week. It's very a tidal wave.
Back into the box, and Buhadi makes the grab.
Very much a tidal wave within the OL Reign organization. So I think what Laura Harvey can add when she comes back is just that calmness and just that fluidity to have that week in and week out, the 90-minute performances, and getting players on the same page, even if they do end up going down a goal.
Marijan, a nice ball to Barnes. Back to Marijan outside the 18. Lays it off to Fishlock. Sent back out. Hedge. Now Hammond. Back to Kelsey Hedge in her debut. And a throw on the way for the Red Stars. First, a substitution. Alyssa Motz will come in for Mallory Pugh. Just a huge day, and particularly a second half, huge second half for Mallory Pugh.
She was fantastic in that second 45 minutes. She completely changed the dynamic of this Chicago team. Now, it wasn't that she was not good in that first 45 minutes. She was just left very isolated up top and had to take on 2, 3, 4 players at times. Now, Chicago came out and really put their foot on the gas pedal. They started pressing higher up the pitch. They weren't allowing OL Reign to settle on the ball in the midfield, and then had a little bit of lady luck. But again, comes down to good quality balls into the box, which led to those goals.
85th minute. The Reign need a goal ASAP if they want to make this a contest to earn a point on the road. Marajan, she's got the size, flicks it back. Watt boots it forward. The Red Stars can essentially park the bus. They do not need another goal. Just need to hold on for a little over 5 minutes plus stoppage time. Hedge. It's a race for it. Fishlock makes it there first. Back to Amber Brooks. And a throw on the way. Barnes. Hedge in the midfield spot. Madison Hammond now. Back to Hammond out of Wake Forest. Played in the orchestra when she was there. Barnes. Fishlock fighting for it. Sharples gets a leg in there, and it's cleared. Some room for Hedge. Plays it to Hammond. Red Stars throw. Substitution coming. Kaylia Watt will exit the match for Nikki Stanton. But a great night for Kaylia Watt, sending that ball into Mallory Pugh, who scored that third goal. It was Watt's first assist of the season. She's also got a goal. Own goal is their leading scorer. Again, one of the leaders in the league. Played back and booted by Miller.
And I dare say it, but could own goal get player of the month in the NWSL? Could you do that? Could you do such a thing?
I'd love to see. At least on Team of the Month.
It has to be on Team of the Month.
What a July it has been. Now picked up by Miller. '89th minute. Time running out for OL Reign. For as dominant as they seem to be playing in the first half, it's just been the opposite in the second. Almost no opportunities for the Reign. Just one shot on target in the second half.
And look, you can call it lady luck, you can call it own goal, but for Chicago, you look at the last 3 games, they'll now go undefeated in 4, but you look at the ability, or sorry, undefeated in 3, excuse me, because they lost to Racing on June 26th. But this is sometimes what you need. You need a little bit of luck on your side. You need a little bit of confidence boosted into your team, because it's not that they don't have the players, they just haven't been ticking. I would say the last 2 seasons, it's looked really disjointed. It hasn't looked fluid. It looks like players are trying but not trying. And again, this second 45 minutes, the players changed the mindset. They came out here. They used players like Pugh and Watt to really lead this team in that front line, lead the energy, came out high pressing, put OL Reign on the back foot, and has been a dominant second 45 minutes. Now you look at the standings of where they are. 5 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses, 11 goals for, yes, 15 goals against, but are sitting in first place as of right now with 17th. Obviously, Orlando Pride and Portland are still going to play this evening. They're both on 16 points, but potentially if that game goes into a draw, they're leading the leaderboard going into this coming week.
Yeah, it really is remarkable that Chicago, assuming they hold on here, and it looks like they will, would move temporarily into first place, sole possession of first place. And as you mentioned, there's a huge match tonight between Portland and Orlando, 2 teams that enter the weekend tied for first place.
And we'll be on the call for that one at 10:30, so everyone needs to close out the weekend with that, because this game was exciting, but that game should be a thriller as well.
Absolutely, about 3 minutes of stoppage time, and that game will be available on Twitch worldwide. So even in the U.S., that will be on Twitch. And if that game ends in a draw, and again, 2 fairly evenly matched teams, it very well could. Look at the pressure here from the Red Stars. That's Alyssa Motts. And if that game ends in a draw, then yeah, it would be a 3-way tie for first place with the Chicago Red Stars in that pack of 3. Now, the goal differential does separate them. Orlando with a goal differential of 2, Portland with 8. For Chicago, it's -4. They've scored 11 goals and had 15 scored on them.
And Corey, I can't honestly think of a year since the NWSL started where the table was so tight from top to bottom. Now, take maybe Kansas City out of the equation right now, but you look at OL Reign with 10, Chicago with 17 points. That middle of the pack from Racing on up, it is really anyone's league to win this year. And again, it goes back to my point, whenever we pull up games and action that's happening on the weekend or standings, I think one of the reasons why the NWSL is such a fun league to watch is because you genuinely don't know who is going to take the 3 points home. I think a lot of people might have bet on OL Reign to win this one comfortably after watching the first 45 minutes. So again, it's drawing a lot of attraction, it's drawing a lot of quality players coming over, and it's only making the competition better week in and week out.
Yeah, just an incredible league and so much parity this year that OL Reign, again, in this first half tonight, they were dominant against a team that is going to finish this game in first place. Here's a run. Nice slide tackle at the last moment from Sharples. Great run, though, from Kelsey Hedge. Just, as you mentioned, 7 points separating first place from 9th place. Really incredible. The corner. Off a few heads. Finally, the bicycle kick from Marijan. And it was right to Miller. But you've got to love the effort on that strike.
And this is what we want to see from players like Marijan. It just hasn't been consistent enough since coming to the NWSL. Now that is going to take time. And again, you can look at the French players since coming over. I think that they would be the first ones to say that they've struggled. And again, it's a tough league to transition into. It's a powerful league, it's a fast league, and then the travel that you add into it. It's going to take time for these players, but they're gonna need to come on quick because the season is going to come September, November, it starts to wrap up very, very, very quick. And again, these players don't have that much time to adjust. So whatever it needs for them to start adjusting a little bit quicker and having these 90-minute performances, because none of these French players, for me, have had solid performances for OL Reign.
There's